Hello everyone. Prior to Canada's virtual knowledge exchange event, we wanted to offer insights into Canada's unique experience with climate change and its history with adaptation efforts, as well as provide some information about the many climate change adaptation platforms that support action across the country. So hold on tight as we take you on a short overview. Canada's landscape is a diverse mix of people, cultures, and regions. Did you know that there are over 630 First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities established across the country? These communities have rich and unique traditions, self-determining governments, and speak over 70 unique languages. Also, compared to other countries, Canada has a relatively low population density. The majority of Canada's population lives in the southern provinces. That said, there are distinct differences in Canada's north and south. Many regions in the south have population densities higher than several European countries. This country has also been shaped by waves of immigration, and most Canadians cannot imagine a Canadian identity that doesn't include diversity. With immigrants from many different cultures, migrant workers, two official languages, being French and English, and economic diversity, this cultural range strongly influences the way adaptation policy is implemented across the country. Finally, covering 6 time zones, there is great diversity in Canada's geography and climate. For example, climate risks in the prairies differ greatly from those on the Pacific, Arctic, and Atlantic coasts. Similarly, Canada's north is experiencing a changing climate at a much faster rate than southern Canada. Regions across Canada are experiencing risks and impacts as a result of climate change in many different ways. As a result, the type of risk and impact of interest to a particular region are often location-specific. Coastal communities could be experiencing an increase in coastal erosion or coastal flooding as a result of rising sea levels or extreme weather events. Rural agricultural communities could be experiencing impacts from changing drought conditions or changing growing seasons. And northern communities could be experiencing impacts from permafrost degradation to changing sea ice conditions. There is a lot of concern related to extreme weather events like storms and wildfires. However, longer-term, more chronic impacts are also a concern. For example, increasing temperatures can increase energy use and demand for cooling in the summer. Over time, Canada advanced a range of adaptation efforts, which have been increasing in scope and ambition to respond to the changing climate and its effects on Canada's socioeconomic and environmental realms. The 1990 to 2010 period focused on research and building foundational knowledge and expertise. For example, the National Knowledge Assessments, the 1998 Climate Action Fund, and the 2001 Climate Change Impacts and Adaptation Program. Now that there was a greater foundational understanding, 2011 to 2016 led the way to the establishment of key policy drivers and a suite of targeted sectoral programs. For example, the Federal Adaptation Policy Framework and funding programs in health, agriculture, and for Indigenous peoples. 2017 to 2019 was marked by coordinated adaptation leadership and continued pursuit of targeted programs, as well as the implementation of the Pan-Canadian Framework on Clean Growth and Climate Change. And in the 2020s and moving forward, we will be stepping up ambition and increasing focus on coordinated efforts. A key recent milestone that has been announced is the National Adaptation Strategy and an Enhanced Climate Action Plan. The last 20 years of work has created an adaptation landscape that is cross-cutting, multi-level, and multi-sectoral. broad involvement and leadership on the adaptation file with a wide range of active players, organizations, and levels. A diverse web of actors including academics, action enablers, and knowledge brokers, Indigenous peoples, private sector leaders, and many levels of government. A recently announced National Adaptation Strategy Initiative will strengthen a coordinated national and regional approach to climate adaptation. Working within distributed powers for the management of land, water, and resources, there is strong local leadership and active regional climate organizations. For example, the Canadian Centre for Climate Services works to jointly deliver climate services with regional climate organizations to provide locally relevant information to users across the country and experts in their respective regions. Uranos in Quebec, PKIC in the Pacific Northwest, and Climate West in the Prairies. Canada's Climate Change Adaptation Platform also works in close partnership with provinces and territories, municipal leaders, private sector professional organizations, academia, and research institutions, as well as national Indigenous organizations to advance shared adaptation priorities. With a vast adaptation field, many climate change adaptation platforms have been developed to help Canadians across different stages of adaptation needs. A series of platforms that provides climate information to help Canadians understand what a future climate can look like and the impacts of climate change. Another type of platform available are those that build communities of practices, sustain networks, and work to align priorities and advanced action across many different stakeholder groups, such as Canada's Adaptation Platform. Finally, there are those that build capacity, provide resources and guidance that help Canadians navigate the adaptation planning cycle. We hope that you can join us from May 11th to 20th to learn more about the Canadian context and share your experiences in our 4 sessions.